Hello, I am Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. Today's video is another 2024 temperature painting update, this time for July and August. So this was recorded immediately after my May and June temperature painting update. So you can see those colors were still wet here. But this month, well, these months, those colors do stay quite common. And in fact, I actually have one of my lighter oranges that did not get used in the prior 2 months used here. And this was a slightly thicker paint, and I knew it was going to be stubborn, so I wanted to get those ones done earlier so they were out of the way and I did not have to fight with them with all of the other colors going around. The difference between this and the prior video was also that I did not write the numbers down again. I just went with the flow and did what seemed like it felt right at the time. So as you can see, in July and August, there's a lot of orange. It was very warm, and in my opinion, too warm. But there are people that disagree with me on that fact, and I'm someone who loves the cold, so anything over a certain temperature is way too warm. But this was my difficult orange color that I was trying to work with. I wanted to get it down because it didn't really move once it was down, which was a good thing, but that can also be a pain to work around. But like the other times, it was a lot of putting in the colors in the boxes they belong, including the little short row on the bottom. So for the first part of these 2 months, I actually used the color to denote where the color was going because I didn't have the dates counted and all of that. I thought it was going to be easier. And I know I say this with a lot of the different ways I've done these, is it might have been easier at the time. But that doesn't mean overall it was the easier or better method. So just doing these couple orange colors, the two on screen here, it took me over 16 minutes to do just these two, which that's a lot of time when you sit and think about it. Yes, it's a third of the month, the 2 months painted, but still 16 minutes for two colors, that's quite a bit of time. So with those ones done, it was time to do the next bit of the orange painting, the orange paint colors I needed to do. And this was one of those paints that was a lot runnier and easier to manipulate than the last orange. It was quicker and took a lot less time. The biggest thing that took the longest with this one was having to constantly be dipping my brush back in the paint to make sure I had enough so that when it dried, it didn't dry very see-through in spots. I wanted the boxes to be opaque with the color that they were. And I am very sure I accomplished that. So next was all the days that were red. And that was one of the other ones that had a lot of days that needed coloring in. So once I was done with all of the red here, that's almost 2/3 of all of the days between the 2 months already painted, and that's only with 4 colors. And just seeing how many of those warm colors work together, it does not surprise me at all. I know I said that in the last video, but still. So having the littler boxes on the bottom, you would think those were easier to paint. They weren't. They probably were more difficult because they were about half the size of the rest of the boxes, and just making sure they were full enough and not spilling underneath the tape, that was a hassle on its own. So next was for one of the pink colors. I think this was like a bright magenta because it was the darkest pinkish red color I had that worked here. But it was a lot quicker doing July and August over May and June because there was less colors that needed to be used, and a lot of them were close in proximity together. So you have these big blocks of color rather than a day here, a day there, day here type pattern like the prior 2 months. And then the rest of the boxes were all the same color, which made it a lot easier and in reality a lot quicker to go and take care of. But like I've been saying throughout this little series of, it's neat seeing how the temperature changed over the course of the year so far. And who knows how it's going to look for the rest of the year, because in the next part of this little series, I'll show what I'm doing for each month after it has been dried. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!